to look at work.
Okay.
Because I don't like to be comfortable. Well, you know what? This is kind of cool. Let's look at this.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Okay, but let's go to the Armory show first.
Okay.
This is really fun.
All right, for all the non-art people that'll watch this blog, can you explain to them what the Armory show is?
Okay, so like since I last showed, what's happened in the art world is that evidently, and I've had very little to do with this, so
You mean you haven't directed what the art world is and is not doing?
No, I haven't been part of the art world while this huge change happened.
Well, can you tell us what was happening before the change happened?
Well, it was more, you know, mom and pop store, and you know, I'm not exactly sure because I was so doing my own thing, but somewhere in the last 5 years, art fairs have become like a major way to people sell work. So Paul gave me the entire booth, which was really unusual.
Now, why did you and Paul Kassman kind of
hook up?
Yeah, hook up.
Well, Paul actually has always liked my work, and Paul really liked it. And then Paul's wife came over, Alexandra, she's very involved with the gallery, and she really liked it. So,
back to the Armory.
Back to the Armory. So, Paul and Vincent decided I should have a one-person show, which is very unusual because mainly it looks like a very expensive flea market when you go through. And you went through, I mean, I know I'm prejudiced, but...
So you got your own cubicle there?
I got a big double booth.
Oh my God.
This is it. This is my double booth.
So this is a little maquette of that booth.
Right, and it was remarkably right on. The only thing, very small things changed.
Let's travel this little...
Yes, okay, but here's what's interesting about this. Come this way.
Okay, I'm going to follow you.
They put the Warhol work on the outside as a sort of, there's some self-portraits here, and then you got the Yentls here.
Okay, and the Yentls are a appropriation of Elvis.
Correct. They're called My Elvis. Yeah, here's Sandy Koufax, the great Jewish ball player. Here's Cindy Sherman as Liza Minnelli.
Wow.
Removed. And then when you come around here, it's me as the camouflage, Andy self-portrait, and then me as Liz. So then you walk in and you see the new stuff. So, okay, so here we have like, now this is the Kassman thing. That's just the scale, just to show you, is that much bigger. This is the gallery, the scale, thanks to Jennifer Dudley.
Wow.
And these are all the right size.
Whose idea was to make this whole model thing?
Me.
You just wanted to make sure that when your show is mounted, it's going to make impact.
Yes. And it has to have, like, you know, meanings on several levels. So.
And what several levels would those be?
Well.
What does that mean?
I want to make my points clearly.
Okay.
So I have to make sure it's clear and not confusing. But that's a little, Jennifer made this out of some stuff I trimmed off the canvas. Isn't she clever?
She's smart.
She's very smart.
You got some smart assistants.
Well, and Colleen is phenomenal.
Are these the kids from Yale?
Well, Jennifer was my student, and Colleen is actually Patty's assistant and was her student at Yale. So they are Yaleys.
Did you hear that? This woman teaches at Yale, the most prestigious art school in the country.
I like how you think. This one we're finishing, it's just basically done. And that there was one like that in the Armory show, but it was way smaller, and I knew when I did it I wanted to see it big.
Yeah, so, like how much smaller? Half the size?
Oh, well, yeah, just about half, I guess. So here's making me feel mighty real for the minimal people. I'm one. I needed to cleanse my palette after all of my
those colors. Wow, this is really just an amazing surface.
Oh, and John Waters is interviewing me for my catalog.
Really? That's great.
So that's really fabulous.
So what about these little paintings here?
Well, that's just a painting that's not quite finished.
Is it gonna, you're in the show?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Maybe, you're not sure?
The guys seem to like it. Vincent
and
Paul came over last week and like loved all the new stuff. They really like this.
Isn't this what spurned lovers always say to themselves after it's over?
I don't know, it's a Judy Garland song. What can I say? This is from Annie, Get Your Gun.
All right, this is a work in progress.
This is in progress. This is still here. This is from Follies. But but you know, oddly apt.
Well, out of context, it takes on a different meaning.
Of course. And I think actually all meaning is, I don't think anybody reads art in any way other than socially.
Okay.
So when I came to New York in the 70s, and I was really young and really precocious, but you know, I didn't get an MFA. I like wanted to move to New York to be a famous waitress, and you know, I did, and I worked at Broome Street Bar. And
No, are you serious? I thought you were being tongue-in-cheek.
no, but I didn't have any women teachers. I wasn't going to get an MFA.
Because it was pointless?
It was utterly pointless. There were no women teachers at Carnegie. There's one, and then the ceramics teacher. I think there was one ceramics teacher and one really old woman who'd been there forever.
As a woman in your early 20s, in your mind, you thought, I will never be able to be an art star? Did you think that?
I didn't think the words art star.
There was no such.
This is what I'm getting ready to tell you. What I'm getting ready to tell you is, it was a very, very tiny world. It was depressed New York, and painting was a disaster. So everybody was obsessed with Clement Greenberg, but it was like over.
Was he still alive at that point?
Yeah,
and he was
but
still
barely.
writing?
He was like Colorfield. It really looked like and felt like these guys were dancing on the head of a pin. They were splitting territory up in these increasingly smaller pieces between Stella and Pollock, basically. And it was like small, small, smaller, smaller, smaller.
You mean based upon what they were doing as painters?
As painters. Okay. And then, like, I moved to New York for good in 75. I believe it was, I think Elizabeth Murray's first show was 76. Pat Steer, Mary Holman's show was 76, I think, at Holly Solomon. And it was fantastic. And it was...
And what was in these women's work that was not in the other...
All right, these women put content into abstraction.
What does that mean?
It means this work had meaning. It wasn't about an aesthetic argument, okay. Although it was based on very formal, the way I'd been taught to look at work. Very Alfred Barr, very formalism, very, you know, Picasso to Pollock to Stella to, you know, but these things were invested incredibly with a ton of content. And it was feminist content. I mean, what it was invested with was a different subjectivity, period.
Did you feel that in the way paint was being applied, in colors? How do you see that in abstract work?
I don't know, but it was extremely clear to me when I saw my first Elizabeth Murray that I was the intended audience, and she was the most formalist of all of them.
Yeah.
And that this was something completely new and different to see in a painting. And that what she was doing with this work was exactly the same as these poets I had been reading as I was busy coming out with a lesbian poet. I came out with a poet, and I was reading, you know, on her advice, you know, Sylvia Plath and Anne Sexton and, you know, everybody. Oh, and Adrienne Rich, most importantly. So, you know, I was reading all the stuff. So when I first saw, I was like ready for Pat Steer to see an abstract painting with a bird in the side of it. Like, or 5 brush strokes in a bird and then a drip. It was like, right. And to see Elizabeth Murray, I don't know what the hell this is, but I know it's not Clement Greenberg. This is something else. And it was very profound. It was a very profound thing for me. So,
but yet you were not an abstract painter. You always were very oriented to a subject.
Right, but so was this work. This work was very oriented to a subject, the subject being a female subject. You know, I mean, I love these women. They are my role models. So, you know, I felt that they all made very effective interventions into the language of abstraction. And in a way, I came right out of that, making interventions into art history, not just abstraction.